What would a guitar look like by a cowboy who was traveling by stagecoach, or you know, a businessman traveling by stagecoach who wanted a guitar to play, but also didn't want to spare any expense? This is a little bit of where the idea came from, so I have to be honest with myself about it. The idea comes from a little bit of like, you could see someone walking into like the pawn shop on Pawn Stars and saying, I have this Martin guitar, I don't know where it's from. They call in an expert, and the expert comes in and he says, oh yes, this is a 0045 SC. This was actually made by this was actually commissioned by Martin, you know, or commissioned by a very wealthy businessman who at the time was just investing in textiles, and he wanted to spare no expense. And as you see, it's got Blue Power all over it, and
kind of like Jimmy Rogers,
yeah,
or Roy Rogers.
Yeah, when it's broken now. No, it's I gotta.
That's what the bindings are for, by the
Yeah.
way. The bindings are to protect the guitar from dents.
I think that a signature guitar, which this really isn't because it doesn't have my signature on it, but it's. I sort of signed it more as the designer of the you know, the inventor of the idea of the guitar. But a good signature model isn't just a combination of your favorite specs. You can't just say, well, I've always liked this neck, and I've always liked this body, and I've always liked this wood, and I've always liked this bridge, and let's just put them together so I have the best of everything that I want. It doesn't really work that way. This is about finding a sort of center of gravity to a design where everything about it works together with the next thing and everything all at once. And so the neck is true to spec, the slotted headstock is true to spec. You know, there's a few liberties, but for the most part, you pick up the guitar and it's not a hybrid of anything other than being a 0045 with an aesthetic to it, with a design build, you know, a sort of build to it that is really inspiring when you play it. It's really, it's got songs in it that you wouldn't have come up with otherwise, I think.
Yeah, that's what Mark Knopfler said when he got his guitar. He wrote a whole album.
Yeah.
And what an honor to have that happen. Maybe that'll happen with this. He said all he had to do is let the songs out.
Yeah, it's an inspiring thing, and I think, you know, there's only 25 of them, but I think it's going to inspire people to pick up this type of guitar. You know, it's a 12-fret model with no cutaway. I think a lot of guitar players look at a 12-fret model with no cutaway as a very limiting sort of an instrument. And I think in tandem where music is going to a much more, I think it's going to go back, and my bet, I'm certainly putting my chips down on it being a more organic, natural, it's about, it has to, right? It's the next step. It has to, the circle has to come around again. Going back to lyrics and chords and simplicity, but not dumb simplicity, but artful simplicity. I think this is sort of the guitar that turns the tide a little bit, where you don't have to, you don't need a cutaway, and you don't need 19 frets of access. You know, the songs are the songs for this guitar are right here. That's where they live, you know, and people have been doing just fine with them for many, many years right here. So,
well, this is Adirondack spruce top. Cocobolo, beautiful, beautiful Cocobolo.
Look at that Cocobolo.
A beautiful rosewood from Central America.
We'll start the bidding at 5,000. I called Dick and I said, Dick, you know how the mother of pearl goes around, would you call that the rosette?
The rosette?
The rosette. You know how the rosette always stops at the neck? And I later found out it actually does go on, but it goes on underneath the neck. They actually lay in the whole circle, but then put the neck over it. I said, what if it kept going? And the only way, and that's what's great about Dick, the only way to find out if it works or not is to do it. And it worked, and it's gorgeous, and I don't know if you can see from there, I think you can, that the mother of pearl goes all the way through the neck to make a complete circle.